Hello, this is Ken calling from Let's Rock.
Hey Ken, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man.
Welcome to Let's Rock.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
How are things going?
Things are going excellent. We just finished recording a full-length album, so pretty excited. We released a single that's already out now, and we're ready just to hit the road running.
When do you hit the road? I guess you're already on the road, aren't you?
Not right now. Not right now. We're kind of sitting, waiting on a couple of other developments that we've been working on to play out, and then maybe we'll be on the road soon. We don't have any tour dates that are posted as of right now.
Okay, so just waiting on confirmation from a couple of them.
Well, actually, we're just waiting on a few other pieces of work that we've been putting together to come forward, and then we'll be able to step out on the road. There's a little bit of play happening in the background from a lot of team members right now. So making sure all of our ducks are in a row.
I should mention congratulations on the new album. I did a review on my site for it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so you did get to hear it. Did you listen to it from top to bottom in its entirety?
I absolutely did, and that's how I do my reviews. I call it more of a first reaction. I just type as I listen the first time, and
okay.
Yeah, I was blown away by it. I mean, what I mentioned.
Oh, I read that review. I read that one. I read that.
Oh, did you?
And thanks, by the way. Yeah, thanks. Sorry there wasn't enough solos in there, but.
Yeah, well, I'm old school. I like my guitar solos, but it didn't take away from the album at all. That's just my own personal thing. But the thing that I really liked about it was that it is really heavy but accessible, I guess is the word, without sounding too heavy for everybody to listen to. That's tough to do.
Yeah, we keep it hard rock. We keep it hard rock. That's kind of something that we just personally enjoy. It's fun. And I'll tell you what, it brings out a lot more to a live atmosphere. And I think a lot of people has went away from that, especially in the mainstream audience. The pop audience has really diverted towards a different sound. But I think as live performances become more and more sought after, you're going to see a lot more of this rock and roll world evolve all over again, like it's never been seen before. I think that's really on its way home.
Where does that come from, though? I mean, what were your influences when you were growing up?
So growing up, I've listened to a lot of like old school blues and like some R&B stuff. That's kind of how I grew up. A lot of gospel music as well. Soul music was a big influence as I was growing up. And then for me personally, I started diving in. I had 3 older sisters, so pop music was also not only an influence, but it was I was indoctrinated, so to speak, because if I didn't, there was no chance for me to listen to anything other than NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, because of my older sisters. And I began to enjoy the songwriting and the simplicity, and the way that within the first chorus you already knew the whole song. And then I realized in church that's how hymnals are also written. They're so simple, and they say the words that you want to say, and they speak them in a melodic way. And then I found rock and roll. I found the Shindowns, the Breaking Benjamins, the Chevelles, you name it. That whole genre, Tool. It goes all into the more rock world of where modern rock or post-grunge rock sits. I started finding those bands and absolutely fell in love because they were able to create these songs that were influential. You know, they spoke about the real world and how they interpreted it and how these moments help their walk of life, and those things like really started to speak to me. Anyway, it was a really cool thing to dive in and understand these people and how they wrote songs, and that's kind of where, you know, development kicked off for me personally. You know, the other three guys, they have their own story of how it worked for them, but that's really how it all kind of set up in me, and now I'm just out there on the track with the rest of those guys that influenced me, hoping that if one day they hear an interview and hear that I'm making music because of them, that I don't disappoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. That kind of surprising to me that you got into rock and roll so late. How did you come about doing the Styx song? I mean, that's a little older.
Yeah, so I started diving in not long after. That was around about the era where music was free, not because it should have been, but because it was. And I literally had music at my fingertips, and I started diving in, and I would listen to everything. You know, those rock bands got me into the heavier side of music and songwriting, and listening to the conviction of their voices. But you know, the songwriting of the Eagles also took me to a whole different world. You know, they were able to create their own genre, which turned into, you know, country, rock and roll, pop music, and it didn't matter. They could cross over everywhere. They're the freaking Eagles. And then you got you know, Journey, and like the voice of Steve Perry. He was just a monster, and that really drove me into finding these larger than life vocals. And then when we were, you know, skimming through, maybe we could do a cover. Maybe we could do a cover. What would be a cool cover? Let's put some harmonies in it. Make sure it's got harmonies. Make sure it's got a fun one. I don't want to cover something and it not be fun. We might as well make it fun. And then, you know, Renegade just steps up, and we had just wrote and recorded Rebel, which is kind of our middle finger, you know, type song. And that you know, Renegade kind of stuck out, and it kind of fit the mold at the same time. And, you know, obviously, who's not a fan of Styx? And then Tommy Shaw and the team actually heard it, and, you know, they gave us some thumbs up, which was a really cool thing for us. It's kind of a big moment, you know, for me personally, to see and have a legend look around and be like, hey, see what you're doing over there, kid. Keep at it, you know? It was cool.
Well, the last time I talked to Seth, I did an interview with him a couple.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I was telling him that basically Styx has been my all-time favorite band since I was about 9 years old. And
oh, wow.
I take it very seriously when someone does a cover of a Styx song. Yeah, I was impressed too. I mean, you got to nail it if you're doing a cover of my favorite band, and you guys rocked it.
Yeah, you really do, and that was a focus, and not just because it is your favorite band, but like that, those guys, they're from top to bottom, you know, great drummer, great guitarists, yeah. Great. I mean, they're like the real sauce musician, but then, you know, you add in the actual harmonies, like they're great singers, you know, like so when you show up to the batting cages, and you're trying to swing one of those bad boys, you better be ready for it. And I think we approached it the correct way, and we stayed honest to our own sound, which brought a brand new element to you know, the legendary Styx song itself. So it was a good take on our part, I feel like.
I agree. I think it's great, and it you know, I think it got a lot of people into your band as well.
I think we were just able to touch a different demographic. with doing that, and we were able to showcase a few different things that we haven't been able to do yet. So yeah, I think so too. We were able to step over and be like, hey, you like these? You like this sound? You like this band? Here's what we can do.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one of the other things that really impressed me on the new album was you got that Southern touch in some of these songs. And, I know you guys are from, maybe I'm wrong here, Alabama-ish. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I heard some Southern rock mixed in with the hardness and the heaviness of the riffs, mostly with the vocals, actually. Very impressed with that.
It's not really something that we shoot for, but it's also something that we don't shy away from because it's natural. It's something that you would have to work to avoid it,
right? And
it's not bad. So why try to fix something that's not broke? You know what I mean? It comes natural from us, and I feel like it always will. The way that the people dance in New York City isn't the same way that they're going to dance in New Orleans, and that's because of the music that they heard while they were growing up. And that particular idea is going to be the same way, with Shallow Side. It's just going to be something that we create because that's who we are and that's where we came from. And we don't want to ever try to be something that we're not,
Oh, for sure. I'm just a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. On one site recently, I read that you were listed as one of the top 10 musicians who, maybe I'm wrong with the wording here, but who cares for the fans, goes out of their way to make fans feel appreciated.
Yeah, it was. It was I'm not sure where that came from or how it got started, but it was something to do with like influential people, and a piece of the article was about being a part of the fan base and being, I guess approachable would be a good way to put it. Approachable, and it's something that we always do. We always, before a show, we'll make sure to catch the frontliners, the people who are beating down the doors to get in as soon as doors happen. They got the ticket in hand, they've already printed it out. That's effort, and more so, that's music that has touched someone personally. Mm-hmm. And if there was a moment where I made a track, I was feeling something. I was feeling some type of way. That feeling could be, sad, bad, mad, glad, doesn't matter. I was feeling some type of way. And if that track connected with you, at that point, we share a memory and at a distance. And I think that's the point, period. You know what I mean? That's the point. So you got to. It's our responsibility as an artist to see that, notice that, recognize that, and be like, hey, we went through that together. Thank you for being there, because them being there is saying thank you for creating that, and that's an eye-to-eye moment. It's a handshake. That's a hug. That's something that will never change. You know what I mean? And that's something that we like to keep up with is, the frontliners for a crowd, or, after the show, make sure that we are always at the merch table. Just trying to give as much time, because we're not there for a long time, but we're there for a good time.
Right. But that's something that doesn't happen very much with a lot of bands. A lot of bands won't do that.
Yeah. And a lot of bands shouldn't. So a lot of bands are like, a lot of artists are weirdos, dude. Yeah. They're just creep balls. They can't carry on a conversation. They're strange individuals. That's why they create, incredible things. And not saying that you need to be, but a lot of, people are introverted, and they're not willing to try to learn someone on the spot and understand new personalities, and also try to develop a relationship, with someone who's so adamantly respective of their own work. They just not that's not something that drives them. For me particularly, that drives me. So, I don't think it would be a great idea if it was a mandatory situation because I think we'd lose respect for a couple of weirdos who we want to talk to, and then you find out, that guy or girl is a jerk, or they're weird, or I wish I would have just kept them at a distance so they could always be cool. Now I feel like they're not cool.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I think it's great what you guys are doing with social media and connecting with the fans. I see it. Was it every Sunday night or Sunday afternoon you guys do?
Yeah, we do a Sunday live at 5. Yeah, Sunday live at 5. We talk to the people directly, and give them a chance to them to tell us things, and that's a lot of times how new merch ideas come out. We just ask them, what do you want next? Okay, you want this? Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Because for us, it's not just music. It's a family. We're creating a community here, and that's something that we're going to always try to work towards.
Well, hopefully, other bands take a cue from you guys and start doing the same thing. I think it's really important. I really do. I go to a lot of shows. It's nice when you can talk to the people that you just saw play. Obviously it's not going to happen
so true.
Metallica or, Foo Fighters or anything, but if you're playing in a smaller place, it's not that big a deal to get out and say hi to the
Yep, that's so true.
Last year, you were supposed to come up this way, up to Ottawa. You had a show here.
That's true, yeah.
And it was canceled. So how do we get you back up here?
Hopefully this year is the year. Hopefully this year is the year that we cross the border.
Let's work on that. What happened last year?
Always bus troubles, man. Always bus troubles. It is a very long distance from A to B, and we came into the swamp down there in Louisiana, and the swamp got us.
All right. Well, we'll get you up here 2019 for sure. There's a bunch of places you guys can play up here.
We'd love to do it, man.
You've never been up here, up to Canada?
Never been in Canada. Nope.
Really?
Really.
All right. Well, here's my promise to you. When you get up to Ottawa, you'll have a beaver tail and Tim Hortons coffee waiting for you.
I like both of those things.
Have you ever had a beaver tail? Do you even know what that is?
I'm assuming it's a beer.
It is not a beer. It is actually a pastry that is shaped like a beaver tail, and it is.
What?
I know,
okay, I like that.
It is fantastic. But I'll have a beer waiting for you as well. How's that?
We'll start off on the coffee first. I like the position. A pastry, a coffee, and then we'll get to a beer later.
Yeah, because our beer is a little stronger than yours, so it might knock you down.
Yeah, we might need to wait till it gets dark then.
Well, I'm hoping you get up here for sure. Yeah, I was actually on my way to that show last year when I just checked Facebook and saw that it was canceled. So looking forward to hopefully getting you back up here, or up here for the first time. Yeah, I just want to say thank you and congratulations on a fantastic album.
Hey, thank you so much, and I appreciate you taking your time to do the interview as well as to do the review on it, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Everyone always complains that there's no good new music out there, and I'm trying to tell people on the site that there's a shitload of it, and you just got to kind of look for it, and it's out there for sure. And this is one of the best albums I've heard in a couple of years for sure. Wow, man, I really do appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm not just blowing smoke, seriously. Like, good music is good music, and this is a great album. Hopefully everybody listens to it. It's fantastic.
I hope so, too.
Yeah. When does it come out, by the way? March?
29th.
Good luck with the tour whenever it gets set up, and we'll see you in Ottawa at some point during the year.
All right, buddy. Thank you.